Hello boys and girls, a very good morning and welcome to this live refresh series for your upcoming IBPS RRB mains exam brought to you by TalentSprint and Up Together. I hope all of you are doing healthy and you're fully geared up for your IBPS RRB mains exam, right? You know that the preliminary exams for both RRB Officer Scale 1 and RRB Officer Assistants have been declared, right? So at the outset, congratulations to all those who have cleared these exams and wish you the best for your next round, which is the main exam, right? I think the IBPS RRB main exam for Officers Scale 1 is scheduled for the 5th of November, and for the Officer Assistants it is on the 12th of November, right? So you have just about a week and 2 weeks for these two exams respectively. So I'm sure you are fully geared up and ready to take these exams now, right? What we are going to do as a part of this refresher series brought to you by Up and TalentSprint Together is, go and touch base with some concepts, right? We'll look at some concepts and refresh the concepts there, right? So that you can walk into the examination center with full confidence. All right. So as a part of this series for the RRB exams, we have got 3 sessions. Session number 1 is today, scheduled today. This is the first session for the mains exam, where we will be looking at some very interesting questions which have been brought up by Govt from the section of Quantitative Aptitude, right? There are going to be 2 more sessions after this. The second session will be on reasoning ability on the 31st of October at 6 p.m. and the third one and the last one will be on English language, which will be taken up by Sylvia on the 2nd of November at 6 p.m. All right, the schedule is available in our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and be assured that you will get notified about all the live sessions and videos that we upload on YouTube, right? Also, TalentSprint students can simply log into their dashboard, TalentSprint account, and get access to all these videos, check out their events calendar, and they would also get notified through SMS. All right, so that's about these series of sessions. I guess there's some problem with the audio that I get to know from the chat here, right? Many of you have mentioned that the audio has got some challenge here. The voice is not clear. Is that so? Well, I request the technical team to quickly look at this. Yeah, some of you have mentioned that audio. Okay, Sanjeev says audio ruk ke aa raha hai. Okay, the audio and the video is cracking. Uh-oh, not a good start to the session, but don't worry, we assure you that we'll fix it immediately. This was not expected, but I'm sure the technical team here will fix it very quickly and we'll be back with this live session very soon. Yeah, I'm sure that there's some problem with the audio now because many of you out there have mentioned the same, right? That there's some problem with the voice. So don't worry, we are looking at that and we will fix it. There is a lot of disturbance, as Deepthi has mentioned here. Okay, so give us a few minutes. I'm sure this is a little irritating and disappointing for us as well. Give us a few minutes. We will fix it quickly and get back to you soon, right? Can you put me out of the video? Alright guys, apologies for that inconvenience caused, but I get to know from our technical team that the glitch has been fixed, right? And it should be fine now. I can also see that a lot of you have mentioned that the audio is absolutely fine and it's perfect. If you can quickly acknowledge the same, if more of you can acknowledge the same, it'll be very helpful and I can proceed forward. Yeah, Pradeep has mentioned that I can continue and it's clear now. And so has Arun Prakash and others there. So should we start? If you're all ready, we can get started. Yeah, thank you so much for acknowledging that the audio is clear now, and yeah, sincere apologies from our end for the inconvenience caused. So all I was mentioning that was that, you know, we have got a series of just 3 sessions, given that the time is too short, right, for your IBPS RRB mains exam. We've got 3 sessions. This is session number 1 on quantitative aptitude. The next 2 sessions will be on reasoning ability and English language respectively on 31st of October and the 2nd of November, right? The calendar is updated in our TalentSprint's dashboard, right? TalentSprint students can access through that. And yes, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified about all these live sessions. So what we're going to do today is solve some very interesting questions which have been brought up by GradeUp, right? And these questions have been chosen from GradeUp's mock test for the RRB mains exam, right? So the idea is not to discuss too much of concept there, right? It's all about solving more and more questions and you know, keeping you fully prepped up before you you know, walk into the examination center, right? And I think in the last 1 week your focus should be more on, you know, building that confidence rather than you know, just solving more and more mock papers and getting nervous unnecessarily, right? I mean, solving and practicing is important, right? But also try to get into the right frame of mind so that you can deliver the best during that main examination, the RRB main examination that you're going to face very shortly. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let me quickly share my screen. I've got some very interesting questions, like I've said. So we'll discuss these questions and you know, look at some of the smart solutions to arrive at the answers. Should we start? Yeah, Ashwini has mentioned that please speak a little bit Hindi also. I'll try and do that, right? And yeah, questions like, is GradeUp a partner of TalentSprint or not? Well, these questions will not really help you in your examination, but yeah, this is a partnership that we have started to help the student community preparing for all these exams. Anyway, I think I've got enough confirmations there that I can start. So let me present the first question to you all, right? I've got some interesting questions on data interpretation, right? You must have seen that in the recent past there have been a lot of questions on data interpretation involving concepts of mensuration, time and work, time and distance, profit and loss, etc. So here we've got one very interesting question which involves a pie chart, but the data is related to you know, different types of shapes, which means it involves concepts of mensuration. So we'll start with that, solve some questions on that, and then move on to the other question types. I think what else we are going to do today is, you know, comparison of quantities. You must have seen that in the recent clerical exams, or the clerical exams in conducted last year, had these questions where 2 quantities were given to you, not directly in terms of numbers, but some you know, some equation or some phrase there, some question where you have to solve and arrive at one particular value. And then there's another quantity where again there's one question involved, you have to solve and then do the comparison. So, you know, more or less it is like solving 2 questions, getting 2 different answers and comparing the 2 answers to find out which answer is higher, right? I mean, is quantity 1 more than quantity 2 or less than quantity 2 and so on, right? So that kind of a comparison. So we'll be solving some comparison based questions, and I think we also have a couple of questions on number series. Number series is also very, very important topic when it comes to the clerical cadre or you know, the RRB exams. So we'll be looking at the variety of questions today. Let's get started with this question on mensuration that I spoke about, and the first question is on your screens now, right? Sorry. So here we go. Here's the first question. All you can see on the screen now is the data. Look at the directions. It says given below. Very interesting question type, right? It says given below is a representation of the percentage of area of a sheet of paper with area 2000 centimeter square used to form different figures. Right? So try and understand the data first, and then I'll present the questions, right? There are 5 questions given along with this data, but let's understand what is given here. It is very, very important that when you're answering questions from data interpretation, when you're solving questions from data interpretation, then you got to understand the data first. You should realize what all can be extracted from the given data. Here we have just one simple pie chart. Now what does this pie chart talk about? It talks about the percentage of area of a sheet of paper with area 2000 centimeter square used to form different figures. So if you see different figures have been formed here. I mean, in the pie chart, you can see he's talking about a cone, a cuboid, a square, isosceles triangle, and a circle. And the percentage distribution is given to us, right? And he's also mentioned that the total area of the sheet of paper is 2000 centimeters square. You understand? So if I have to help you understand this, there is a sheet of paper. The total area is 2000 centimeters square, right? The total area of this sheet is 2000 centimeters square. Now we have formed different shapes from the sheet of paper, right? There is a circle. There is a circle which has been cut out, and this circle takes how much of area? 30.8% of the area. Then there is an isosceles triangle, right? We have also cut out an isosceles triangle. The area covered is only 3%. Then there is a square which has been cut out, right? It is 8.45%. It occupies 8.45% of what? See, all these percentage would be with respect to 2000 centimeters square, right? The total for this pie chart is 2000 centimeters square. Then there is also a cuboid which has been cut out. Now you cannot make a cuboid from a sheet of paper, but yeah, they have taken different pieces of. Now what is a cuboid? A cuboid is nothing but a rectangular box. So they have taken 6 different rectangular pieces and made a cuboid out of it, right? I mean, cuboid, you know, is a 3D figure, right? This sheet of paper is 2D, but they can take different pieces and make a cuboid out of it. So 2 rectangles of this shape, maybe 2 rectangles of this shape, and 2 more rectangles to get a cuboid there, right? You know that a cuboid will have 6 faces, right? So these 6 faces can be cut out and then formed together to get a cuboid. And then there is also a cone, and cone here is he's talking about curved surface area of a cone. So curved surface area of a cone, you know that a curved surface area of a cone would be like a, like this, right? So you join the 2 edges to get a conical shape, right? A conical shape. And he's only talking about the curved surface area. So the base of the cone has not been formed. Only the conical structure has been formed from the sheet of paper. And of course, when you're trying to make different faces, some percentage of area will be left out. See, all this remaining area is something that has not been used from the sheet of paper. See, one important point to be noted is usually when you sum up the percentages in a pie chart, it should add up to 100. But here, if you quickly look at it, it is not adding up to 100, right? 30.8, 27.5 and 25. That is roughly about 82, let's say. 82 and 8 is like 90 and 93. So somewhere around 7% of the area is missing. What is that 7% approximately? That is a unused area, wasted paper. You getting me? The full paper has not been used in making shapes. Some paper has got wasted. Very, very important observation. If you miss on that, then you will you may get confused or you may get wrong answers, right? Remember that there's some unused area which has not been mentioned here. Add it up. 27.5 plus 25 is 52.5. 52.5, let's say this is 8.5 approximately. 52.5 plus 8.5 would be 61. 61 plus 3 is 64. 64 plus, let's say 31. That's like 95. So somewhere around 5%, right? Roughly about 5-7% is lost. Yeah, roughly about 5 to 7% is lost. So that's the unused area. So there is also some unused area. Remember, there's some unused area, unused paper or wasted paper. And we will deal with it as and when the question demands. Okay, so basically we have understood that from a sheet of paper different shapes have been cut out, and we have been given the percentage area occupied by each of these shapes, and all these percentages should be taken on 2000 centimeters square. Now it's very important that you do these calculations quickly, right? I have mentioned always that you have to be very quick in your calculations. You have to do your numerical calculations mentally as much as possible so that you can avoid wastage of time in the exam, right? Like for example, 25% of 2000, that's very easy. 25% of 2000 is 500. Yeah, 27.5% of 2000, how much will that be? See, 25% is easy to calculate. 25% is what? 1/4 of 2000. 1/4 of 2000 is 500. How about 27.5? It's all about split and merge. I would say 27.5 is 25% plus 2.5%. That makes the calculation really easy. 27.5 is 25 plus 2.5. Now we have already calculated that 25 is 500. If 25 is 500, 2.5 will be 50. Yes or no? If 25% is 500, 2.5% would be 50. So 500 plus 50, 550. Which means the area occupied by the curved surface of the cone is 550. See, I'm explaining so it's taking so much of time. When you do it yourself mentally, it should happen very quickly, very rapidly in your brain that 500 plus 50, 550 will be the value here. You're getting me? 3% of 2000, very easy, 60. 1% is 20, 3% would be 60. 30.8%, calculate 30.8%. See, 30% first. 30% is 600. All about breaking it up, right? 30.8 is not 30.8, it is 30 plus 0.8. So 30% is 600. How much is 0.8%? 1% would be 200. 0.8% will be 160. Sorry, 16. You understand? 1% is 20, 0.8% would be 16. So 600 plus 16, 616 will be the value. So 616 is the area occupied by the circle. You're able to follow. Break it up. 30.8 is 30 plus 0.8. 30% of 2000 is 600. 0.8%. 1% is 20. 0.8 will be 0.8 of 20, which comes out to be 60. Right? So this comes out to be 616. How about square? 8.45%. Now do this calculation. See, you must be capable of doing these calculations really quick. Otherwise, it gets very difficult, right? I mean, time consuming basically. All of us can find out what is 8.5% of 2000, but how quickly do you find it out is the question here. Now 8.45, there are different ways to take it up, right? I mean 8.45, I would take it as 8 plus 0.5 minus 0.05. Easy percentages, right? 8%, 1% is 20, 8% would be 160, 0.5%, see 1% is 20, so 0.5 is 10, 0.5% is half of 1%, right? 0.5% is half of 1%. 1% is 20, half of 1% will be half of 20, which is 10. If 0.5% is 10, 0.05% will be 1. So 160 plus 10, 170 minus 1, 169. So this is 169. Or there can be other ways also to calculate. Whichever method you follow, the point is you should be doing the calculations very quickly, right? You should be able to arrive at the values very quickly. So we know the different values there. Yeah. So note it down. I mean, when you are when there is only one pie chart involved, I would say very quickly find out the values and use this as and when required. And you can also find out the remaining area now. 2000 minus all these values will give us the remaining area, right? Or the percentages can be summed up, and then 100% minus the sum of all this percentage will give us the percentage of remaining area. Okay. So your choice there. Anyway, so that's the data here. Let's look at the questions now. So the first question based on this data is on your screens. Direction is the same. We have a representation of percentage of areas which has been taken from a sheet of paper of total area 2000, used to form different figures. So that's there. Now the question here is this: if the radius of the cone is half the radius of the circle, find the height of the cone. If the radius of the cone, so there is a cone involved here and there is a circle involved here. So he says the radius of the cone is half of the radius of the circle, find the height of the cone. I'll leave you with this question for 1 minute. It's all about using the right formula. See, when it comes to mensuration, it's all about the formula there. You must know all the formula involved, right? Formula for area, formula for volume, formula for surface area, for all these different types of shapes. Circle, square, triangle, cuboid, cone, cylinder, right? Sphere, hemisphere, all the different shapes there. Square, rectangle. Here it's an isosceles triangle, right? It could be a scalene triangle. It could be a equilateral triangle, right? So you should be very thorough with, you should be thorough with all these formulae there. So assuming that you know the formula, I'll give you maybe a minute to try this. The clock starts now. Let's see how many of you get the right answer. We are supposed to find out the height of the cone. What is going to be the height of this cone? Quick. So Shahnawaz has asked me a question. While you all try to solve this one, let me respond to Shahnawaz's question, right? Shahnawaz says that should I write the values on paper first in the exam as well? Shahnawaz, if there is too much of data, then I would say don't write. But since there is only one pie chart with 5 different percentages, nothing wrong in quickly finding out the values. Or you can do it as and when required also. I was just trying to show you how to do the calculations. Right, the idea was not that you should always write the values first, but yeah, since there are only 5 values, very quickly calculate first and then use it as per the requirement. And if you think that the question is too complex, you better skip it and go to the next one. I mean, examination point of view, you should skip it. Remember, they are not asking you to solve all the questions. They are asking you to solve as many as possible in that limited time. So if you think it is going to be time consuming, you better skip the question. Okay, answers have come in. 21 centimeter, option 4. Dheeraj Singh says it should be 75 by 7, which is option 5, none of these. We have Paras who's got 10.7. I'll wait for more responses. 24. Vijay has got 24, option 3. Rahul Kumar Jha has got 21. Good, so answers have started coming in, but not all of you are on the same page, right? Ravi has got 24. Virish has asked me a question, how to remember formulae? Well, I think, you know, it's all about learning by heart. There's no shortcut as such. And there are not many formulae. I mean, at best about 20-25 formulae that you'll have to remember. And if you know the working behind the formula, it becomes a lot more easier. So don't just try to mug it up. Try to understand how do we arrive at that formula. Then things become very easy. 21. I think 21 is the most common response here. Most of you have got 21, which is option 4. But some of you have got 24 as well. Option 3. Should we take it up now? Yeah. Okay, I think we've got a lot of answers here, around 40-50 responses already. 75 by 7, 21 and 24 are the most common responses. Let's take it up now, right? So here we go. Here's the solution. See what it says. Now the question says that if the radius of the cone is half the radius of the circle, find the height of the cone, right? So we are supposed to find the height of the cone. H is equal to what? Now what is the equation given in the question? That the radius of the cone is half the radius of the circle, right? Let's first work on the circle, right? Circle. Here we know that circle is 30.8% of what? 2000. Remember the total value is 2000. Now what is 30.8% of 2000? We had calculated this, right? 600 plus 16, 616, right? 616. So basically area of the circle is 616. Right, area of the circle is 616. So first step is I'll try and find out the radius of the circle. Once we get the radius of the circle, we can get the radius of the cone, because radius of the cone is half the radius of the circle, right? So first step is to find out the radius of the circle. Try to do that. So I know that pi r squared is equal to 616, or pi can be taken as 22 by 7. 22 by 7 into r squared is 616. Now simplify this to get the radius of the circle. Is 616 divisible by 22? I think this is 660 minus 44, right? 660 minus 44. Yeah, and I think that goes 28 times. Yeah, 660 minus 44. So 30 times minus 2 times. 30 times minus 2 times, 28 times. So r square basically is equal to 28 into 7. 28 into 7. Or this can be actually taken as 4 into 7. 28 is 4 into 7 and then 7. So r square is 4 into 7 into 7, which means r will be equal to what? 2 into 7, 14. Or 4 into 7 into 7 is 196. Square root of 196 is 14. Otherwise, square root of 4 is 2. And square root of 7 into 7 will be 7. 2 into 7, 14. Anyway, radius of the circle is 14. Getting it? The first step. I'm not spending too much time on calculation. I'm sure you can do it yourself. We have found the radius of the circle. It comes out to be 14. The question says the radius of the cone is half the radius of the circle. So what is going to be the radius of the cone? Half the radius of the circle. Half of 14. Half of 14 is 7. Remember, you don't have to write this step in the exam. Don't write half of 14, 1 by 2 into 14 equals to 7, radius of cone and all that. I am writing it here so that you can follow. But when you do it yourself in the exam, you know that radius of the cone is going to be 14 there. So don't waste your precious time in the exam, right? During the exam. Anyway, radius of the cone is 14. Now, we are supposed to find the height of the cone. What else do we know about the cone? We know the curved surface area of the cone is 27.5%. How much is 27.5% by the way? 25%, 550, right? 550. Yeah, we had done this, 550. Now, what is curved surface area of a cone? Curved surface area of a cone is pi RL. Again, this is the formula that you need to remember. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult. Pi into R into L, where R is the radius of the cone and L is the slant length, right? So let's simplify this. So basically, curved surface area of the cone, 22 by 7. Pi is 22 by 7. Radius of the cone is 7. right? 22 by 7 into L is equal to 550, right? Curved surface area is 550. Simplify this, 7 and 7 gets cancelled. 22 goes how many times here? 25 times, right? 55 by 2.2 or 550 by 22 is 25. So L is equal to 25. L is equal to 25. Slant length. Now understand the slant length L. Again, don't write all these words in the exam, right? Don't waste your time. Slant length L for a cone, slant length L is equal to root over r square plus h square. Don't ask me how and all that, right? These are standard formulae you got to learn by heart. Of course, you can also derive the formula, but no point in doing that now. Now we know the slant length L is 25. We also know that the radius of the cone R is equal to 7. Can you not find out H? Very easily. So substitute, take square on both the sides. I mean squaring on both the sides. What do we get? We get L squared equals to R square plus H square. So I can say H square equals to L square minus R square. What is L square? 25 square. What is R square? R square is 7 squared, right? So 25 square minus 7 square. 625 minus 49. 625 minus 49 is 576. So H square is 576. H will be root of 576. See, all these steps have to be cut down, right? I'm just writing more number of steps so that you can follow easily. But when you do it yourself, you have to cut down the number of steps that you put on paper. Answer is going to be option 3, 24 centimeters. 24 is the final answer, right? 24 is the final answer. So what are the steps? First step, find out the radius of the circle. You know the area of the circle. Based on that, get the radius of the circle. Once you get the radius of the circle, you can get the radius of the cone, because radius of the cone is half of radius of the circle. Yeah. Once you get the radius of the cone, using the curved surface area of the cone, find out the slant length. And once you know the slant length, from that you can find out the height as discussed here. So 3-4 steps involved. It would take some time as in about, maximum about 1 minute, not more than that. You have to be very sharp and very quick in your calculations for that. So 24 is the final answer, right? 24 centimeters is going to be the height of the cone. I hope all of you followed this. There's no discussion required, right? A straight question. Not really straight, but yeah, just about formulae, right? Knowing all the formulae there. So now that we are done with this, let me move on to the next one. Yeah. Many of you had got 21 as the answer. You have to check where have you gone wrong, right? How is that so many of you have got 21? 21 is not the answer. 24 is the answer. Is there any shortcut? Well, I don't think there's a shortcut here. You got to use the formula. Slant length is okay. One shortcut that can be used is that I can say that the answer should be less than 25. I can stop after finding out the slant length. See, we have got the slant length as 25, right? You know that, see, slant length, radius and the height for a cone, again these are all basics. If you understand, the slant length, the height and the base of the cone will form a right angle triangle, right? Where the base and the height of the cone are the perpendicular sides and the slant length is the hypotenuse. You know that in a right angle triangle, the longest side is the hypotenuse. So even before we get the height, one of the perpendicular sides, we have got the hypotenuse, which comes out to be 25. Remember, L was 25. L comes out to be 25. Now if the slant length is 25, height cannot be more than 25. Height should be less than 25. But unfortunately, all the options are less than 25 here. I mean, option 2 can be eliminated. It cannot be 25. But 18, 24, 21. Yeah. Or if you can remember that 7, 24 and 25 form a triplet. Like 3, 4, 5, right? 3 square plus 4 square is 5 square. That's like one Pythagorean triplet, right? So if that way, if you remember that 7, 24 and 25 also form a triplet, you can cut down that last step. Yeah. Anyway, 24 is the answer. Not really a shortcut there. You just have to go by the formula. Okay. Let me move to the next one now. I am presenting the next question, which is on your screens now. Amanjot Singh says, I always skip mensuration based questions in the exam. No, you should not be doing that, Amanjot, because you see these days more and more questions are being asked on these kind of topics. You never know, in your exam maybe they will ask 0 questions on mensuration, but how do we know that? You have to be prepared for everything. Anyway, the next question is on your screens now. It says the second longest side of a cuboid is its height. If the length of the cuboid is 15 centimeter and the sum of the length, breadth and height of the cuboid, which are all integers, is 3 more than half the perimeter of the square, what is the height of the cuboid? All about those formulae there. Use the formulae, solve the equations and find out the missing variable. शिवानी से सर लेवल कैसा होगा मैथ्स का? शिवानी काश मैं बता पाता कि लेवल कैसा होगा मैथ्स का. अनफॉर्चुनेटली फ्यूचर प्रेडिक्ट करना मेरे बस की बात नहीं है, राइट? एंड आई एम श्योर कोई भी नहीं बता पाएगा. यू कैन लुक एट द प्रीवियस पेपर शिवानी, इतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं होता है. वी आर ट्राइंग टू डिस्कस even more difficult questions here through these live sessions so that you are prepared for the worst, right? I mean, I'm sure that if you can solve these type of questions, you'll be able to solve easier ones much faster. Yeah, but irrespective of how easy or difficult the question is, the one very important ability is to have good numerical skills. I think all of you should work on that. Answers have started coming in. 3.8, 8. Yeah. Anything else? 8 is the common response here. Let's see. Eight is option 3. 3.8 is not there in the options. Any other answer? We have Magudis here who says, sir, please teach short tricks. Well, I would love to. Wherever applicable, I'll give you the short tricks. But I think the only short trick I know as of now is to be good and very quick in your calculations. Eight. Ankit Kapoor, Sri, Ajit, all these guys have got 8. 6, 8, 15. Option 5, none of this is also what some of you have got. 12, 8. Okay, I think time is up. I've given you enough time. Not many of you have got the answer, but those who all have solved it have got option 8. The most common response is option 8, followed by 12, followed by fifth option, none of these. So let's take it up now. Here we go. The second longest side of the cuboid is its height. Second longest side is its height. If the length of the cuboid is 15 centimeter and the sum of the length, breadth and height of the cuboid, which are all integers, is 3 more than half of the perimeter of the square, what is the height of the cuboid? So here again a question is based on height. We are supposed to find out the height of the cuboid. What do we know? The height of the cuboid, according to this question, is the second longest side of the cuboid. See, a cuboid will have 3 different dimensions, right? Length, breadth and height. So height is the second longest side. So obviously longest is length, second longest is height, and the third longest or the shortest here is the breadth. The one thing that we know is the length of the cuboid is 15. Length is 15. This is fixed. Length is equal to 15. This is given to us, right? We have to find out the height. Height is equal to what is the question? So height will be definitely less than 15. If I look at the options, all the options are less than 15. So no elimination as such, right? Height should be less than 15. Why? The longest is 15. Height we know is second longest. Now what else do we know? The sum of L, B and H, all 3 of which are integers, is 3 more than half the perimeter of the square. Now square is involved. Square is involved here. So let's deal with it. 8.45% of what? 2000. Remember, total area of the sheet of the paper is 2000. So square 8.45% of 2000. 8.45%, I think we had calculated, right? It comes out to be 169. Simply 8.45 into 2 is 16.9 into 10 into 20 basically you have to do. So it comes out to be 169. So area of the square is 169, right? Area of the square is 169, right? S square equals to 169, which implies the side of the square is 13. That's the first step. Side of the square comes out to be 13, right? What do we know? L plus B plus H is 3 more than half the perimeter of the square. What is perimeter of square? Perimeter of a square is 4 into S, right? 4 into side. So 4 into S, 4 into 13 is 52. Now he says L plus B plus H is equal to 3 more than half the perimeter of the square. 3 plus half of the perimeter of the square. 3 more 3 more means 3 plus half of the perimeter of the square. Half of the perimeter of the square is 26. 52 by 2, 26. 26 plus 3, 29. So the one equation that we know is the sum of all the 3 lengths is 29. Of course, we also know that L is 15, right? So we can find out B plus H. 15 plus B plus H is 29, which implies B plus H equals to 29 minus 15, which is 14. You should directly write this step. In fact, you should not write this step in the exam. Again, my explanation takes longer, and I'm doing that so that all of you can follow it. Otherwise, you know that this is 15. So B plus H will be 29 minus 15, 14. B plus H is 14. So that's one thing that we know. What else do we know about the cuboid? What else do we know? Nothing else. The other thing that we know is area occupied by the cuboid is 25%. What is this area? The surface area. Yes or no? The surface area of the cuboid is 25%. 25% is how much? 500, right? 25% of 2000 is 500. This was 169, like we had calculated. This is 500. 500, not 5000, sorry. So this is 500. Okay. Now, just deal with that equation to get the answer. What is this? Total surface area of the cuboid. Total surface area of the cuboid. What is total surface area of the cuboid? 2 times of LB plus BH plus HL. That is equal to 500. Now substitute the values. This is 250 anyway, and we know that L is equal to 15. If I take L common, what do we get? So it is like this: L times of B plus H plus BH equals to 250. What is B plus H? I think B plus H is 14. What is L? L is equal to 15. So substitute 15 into 14. 15 into 14, right? So what is BH? BH is equal to 250 minus L into B plus H. L is 15, B plus H is 14. 15 into 14 is 210, right? 15 into 14 is 210. So 250 minus 210 is 40. B into H is 40. B into H is 40. That's it. This is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. B plus H is 14. B into H is 40. Now I think you can verify using the options. You can verify using the options. Height, we are supposed to find out the height, right? So sum of 2 values is 14. The product of those 2 values is 40. I think 10 and 4 are the combination, right? 10 and 4 is the combination. I mean, I'm doing it directly. You can solve the 2 equations using the algebraic formulae. But basically, I think height is going to be 10 and breadth is going to be 4. Only these 2 combinations will give you these results, right? So 10 into 4, 40. 10 plus 4, 14. And we know that height is second longest, right? So height should be more. You may ask me a question, how do you know that height is 10 and breadth is 4? Why can't it be height 4 and breadth 10? Because we know that height is second longest. Height should be more than breadth. So more than breadth is, very clear, making it very clear that height is 10. So 10 centimeters should be the answer, option 5. All these are wrong. All these are wrong. I think we can also go by options if you want to, if you want to know how to solve these 2 equations, if you're not getting the solution directly. See, sometimes it happens when you look at the 2 values, when you look at the 2 equations, you can straight away tell what the 2 values are. Like here, 14 and 40. I mean, somehow it tells me that 10 and 4 is the combination. But let's say if you don't get this, if this is confusing for you, you go by options. What do? Assume that by the way, the other thing that to be noted is, at this step itself, I can say height should be more than 8, more than or equal to 8. Height should be more than or equal to 8. So 6 centimeters is eliminated in the beginning itself. You understand? Let me explain you how to go by options. If you don't want to solve the 2 equations, right? You can go by options. How? Let's look at it. If you are not getting this part of the solution, just go by options. How is that? Height is equal to 6. According to option 1, height is equal to 6. Can the height be 6 first of all? Because if the height is 6, breadth comes out to be 8. 6 plus 8 is 14, right? So breadth comes out to be 8. Can the breadth be more than height? No. So option 1 is eliminated straight. If the height is 12, breadth is 3. If the height is 8, breadth is 6. Sorry, if the height is 12, breadth is 2. 14, right? Total should be 14. Breadth and height total should be 14. So 12 plus 2, 14. 8 plus 6 is 14. 9 plus 5 is 14. Yes or no? What is given in the options is the height. What we have noted down is the breadth. So 6 and 8, 14. 12 and 2, 14. 8 and 6, 14. 9 and 5, 14. Why is first option eliminated? Because according to first option, height is 6, breadth is 8. Which is incorrect, right? Height should be more than breadth according to the first statement. Second longest side is the breadth, height. Now, look at the other combinations. 12 into 2. See, I want B into H. B into H should be 40. 12 into 2, 24. No, it should be 40. 8 into 6, 48. No, it should be 40. 9 into 5, 45. No, I want it to be 40. So all the 4 options are eliminated. Hence, fifth option, none of this is correct. Getting it? Fifth option is the correct answer. Fifth option is the correct answer. I know these questions appear to be lengthy. The only reason for that, I mean, there could be two reasons for that. Let me come back to the video for this, right? Solutions and the thing looks to be lengthy, but the two reasons are, one is I'm writing all the steps and I'm explaining. Don't go by the length of the explanation, right? If I have spent 2 minutes or 3 minutes solving this for you, does not mean that it will take 2-3 minutes in the exam. I'm explaining it. I'm not doing it for myself, right? We are trying to understand the solution, so it takes longer. The second point is, and I'm writing all the steps. You can cut down all the unnecessary steps here. Yeah, like you don't have to write 2 into LB plus BH plus HL equals to 500. You can straight away write LB plus BH plus HL equals to 250. Or in fact, you can avoid that step also and write the next step directly. Yeah. The other reason could be that you are not very quick in calculation. It's all about playing with the numbers. What are we doing here? All the formula involved, just keep playing with numbers. Okay. So that's about the solution to this one. If all of you are clear, I would move to the next question now. Ravneet Singh, by the way, says that the screen is not clear. Ravneet, we are streaming this live session in HD quality. It could be because of the internet connectivity at your end. I would request you to adjust the picture resolution using this settings button that you have on the right hand side of your screen. Bottom right of your screen, there's a settings button, right? Use that to adjust the picture quality. Vicky has asked if you have a channel on YouTube. I want to watch more videos. Yes, we have a channel on YouTube. It's called TalentSprint's Bank and SSC Exam Prep Tips. You can just search for TalentSprint in YouTube and you'll get to subscribe to our channel. Okay, is this clear? Can I jump to the next one? I know we are like going a little slow solving it in detail so that you're thorough with the concept, you're clear with the concept there. You're anyway fully prepared for your mains exam, right? I mean, the fact that you have cleared your RRB prelims shows that you know all about these aptitude and reasoning in English language. Of course, the other sections also will get added this time, general awareness and maybe computer knowledge for the mains exam, but the whole idea is to touch base different concepts. Should we go for the next one? Next question. Yeah. So let me move to the next one. I'm sure all of you have followed this. The next question is on your screens now. 1 minute for this. Just 1 minute for the next question. See what it says. If the height of the cuboid is same as the base of the isosceles triangle, find the semi-perimeter of the triangle. And he says use the information from the previous question. What is the previous question? In the previous question we found the height of the cuboid, right? What is the height of the cuboid? We got 10. So use that information. If the height of the cuboid 10, remember height of the cuboid is equal to 10, right? He's mentioned use the information from the previous question. Otherwise you cannot use. Remember, if this statement was not given, our answer to this question would have been cannot be determined. But very clearly he specified that use the information from the previous question. So he says height of the cuboid is same as base of the isosceles triangle. Find the semi-perimeter of the triangle. Find the semi-perimeter of the triangle. Quick. It's an isosceles triangle, right? You know what is semi-perimeter? Semi-perimeter is half of perimeter. So find out the perimeter of the triangle and then take half of the perimeter. You have 1 minute for that. I hope आप सभी को समझ में आ रहा हो. अगर कहीं पर भी कोई भी difficulty हो, please let me know. I would also explain that in Hindi if you want. Primarily the medium of instruction is English, but अगर कहीं आपको दिक्कत हो रही हो तो please let me know. I'll explain that in Hindi. That part in Hindi. Vishal says add time and work questions. I guess we have a couple of time and work questions also. Let's see if we can solve that in the session today. If not, you can join our programs, right? We've got online programs for bank and SSC exams preparation, where all these topics have been covered in detail with lots and lots of examples. (15, 17 are the answers that I've got. What is semi-perimeter? Semi is half of perimeter. Chalo, let's take it up, right? Let's solve this now. So the question, like you all know, says that the height of the cuboid is same as the base of the isosceles triangle. We have got the height of the cuboid from the previous question. He has asked us to use the information of the previous question. So basically, height of the cuboid is same as the base of the isosceles triangle. Find the semi-perimeter of the triangle, right? Now, triangle is what? 3%. 3% of 2000, right? Total paper area is 2000. Triangle has occupied 3% of that area. 3% is how much? 60, right? 3% of 2000 is 60. So basically the area of this isosceles triangle is 60. Now first step, we know that the base of the triangle, base of the isosceles triangle is same as the height of the cuboid. So basically B is equal to 10. B is equal to 10 since base is equal to height. Area of the triangle, which is half into base into height, is equal to 60 according to the pie chart. So from this, what is the height? See, half into 10, 5, 60, sorry. Half into 10 is 5. 5h equals to 60, h comes out to be 12. Right? Half into 10 into h equals to 60. So 6 into 2, 12. Height is 12, right? So height of the triangle is equal to 12. Now he's asking us to find out the semi-perimeter. For us to get the semi-perimeter, we should first know what the perimeter is. Understand that an isosceles triangle, the base is given as 10. We know the height is 12. Remember, in isosceles triangle, the height is the height bisects the base. It divides the base into two equal halves. In my diagram, it doesn't look like two equal halves. This portion looks to be longer than this one, but basically these two are equal. So if this is 5, this is 12, and this also is 5. And these two form a right angle triangle. These two triangles formed are right angle triangles. So if this is 12 and this is 5, this should be 13. Pythagoras theorem, right? Hypotenuse square should be equal to height square plus base square, right? So 12 square plus 5 square, 144 plus 25, 169. This is square root of 169, 13. And this also is 13. You understand? I'm not writing that step now. 12 square plus 5 square equals to x square. X comes out to be 13. You getting it? I know the height and I know the base. The full base 10 is divided into two halves, 5 and 5. Now do the calculation, right? He's asking us to find out what is the perimeter of the triangle. Perimeter of the triangle will be 13 plus 13 plus 10. Yes or no? 13 plus 13 plus 10. 26 plus 10, 36. Right? 13 plus 13 plus 10. So 26 plus 10, 36. 36. But what is the actual requirement? Semi-perimeter. Semi-perimeter is half of perimeter. It is usually denoted by small s. Half of p. Half of p is how much? 18. Half of 36, 18. Option 2 would be the answer. Option 2 is the answer. Clear? Yeah, I can see many of you have got 18 now. 18 is the answer. सुनील गुप्ता has asked a question कि कितने बजे से ये सेशन चल रहा है. सुनील 11 बजे से चल रहा है, लगभग 50 मिनट हो चुके हैं. काफ़ी क्वेश्चंस कुछ हमने सॉल्व नहीं किया है, लाइक तीसरा चौथा क्वेश्चन ही है, बट येस द टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इन माय व्यू, राइट? मेंसुरेशन in data interpretation. So Sunil, if you have a problem, if you have missed out on this session, what I would suggest is subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? TalentSprint's YouTube channel, so that you get notified about these live sessions well in advance, right? Should we go for the next one? Let me go for the next one. This was a simple question. In my view, the easiest of the questions that you have solved so far from this data interpretation set. Okay, the next question on your screens now. Try this. Interesting one. Here it says that assume that no cone is made of the given paper. No cone is made of the given paper. The other figures are made as given above. Then approximately how many hollow cylinders with no lids of radius 7 cm and height 1 cm can be wrapped from the remaining paper? Interesting one again. So he says assume that there is no cone. Right? Assume that there is no cone. So basically this becomes 0. There's no cone, this becomes 0%. So we will save how much of paper? 27.5% of paper. And also there is already some existing remaining paper. Remember, in the beginning of the question we had discussed, these are the shapes, plus there is some unused paper, right? Waste paper. So that waste paper and this, cone paper is saved now. Now from the paper that is saved now, we are making hollow cylinders. Hollow cylinders meaning what? Only the curved surface area of the cylinder, no lids. The dimensions are 7 and 1 respectively. So how many such hollow cylinders approximately can be made from the remaining paper is the question. So I've already given you the gist of how to solve it. Just play with the numbers. You have 1 minute for that. The clock's ticking now. I would repeat that this is a very good selection of questions by Grade Up, and I'm sure this would broaden your thinking in the exam, right? This help you think divergently in the exam. (14, 17 are the responses that I've got. 12, 15, 25. Okay, variety of answers have come in. 12, 17, 25, 14, 15. So all the options have been covered. 12, 14, 15, 17, all these are there in the options. Somebody has marked 25, which is option 5, none of this. 14.8. Yeah, approximately how many is the question? Megha. Vivek says it should be 21. Venkat has also got 21. (17) is what many of you have got, huh? Should we take it up now? Let's take it up, see what happens. Okay, so here we go. Assume that no cone is made of the given paper. The other figures are made as given above. Then approximately how many hollow cylinders with no lids? Of course, I mean this part of the question is redundant in my view, because when you say hollow cylinder, it is obvious that there won't be any lids. But anyway, he's being very specific, which is good for us. So how many hollow cylinders with no lids of radius 7 cm and height 1 cm can be wrapped from the remaining paper? Now remember, here remaining paper means what? You don't have to write this step in the exam, but remaining paper is what? Unused paper from the beginning plus the cone paper, cone area. There's already some unused paper and the cone area has been saved. How much is the cone area? See, 27.5%. I mean, I wrote 0% to indicate that this is saved now, but the idea is that cone earlier occupied 27.5% of the paper, the curved surface area of the cone. So 27.5% is how much? 550 we have calculated, right? So this 550 is saved. This is 550. 550. How much is the unused paper? I think this calculation we have not done so far. So if we find out how much is unused paper. How do you get unused paper? From the total 2000, subtract all these values. Either do it in terms of percentage or the actual values. Let's do, no? 616 is this, right? Calculations have been done already. You would have noted it on your books, right? 500. I'm writing it again because it got missed in the earlier questions. The 3% is 60, right? 3% is 60, and 8.45% came out to be 169. So sum of all these values should be removed from 2000 to get the remaining paper, unused paper. Yeah. So I'll write it here. Unused will be equal to 2000 minus this 550 plus 500 plus 169 plus 60 plus 616. How much is that? Now do the calculation very quickly. 550, I'll add all the hundreds, then add the tens, and then add the unit places, right? That's the easiest way to add the values, right? So 500 and 500 is 1000, 1100, and 600 is 1700. Then 50 plus 60, 110, 110 plus 60 is 170, 170 plus 10 is 180, 1700 plus 180 is 1880, and now add the unit places. 9 and 6 is 15, 1880 plus 15 is 1895. So 2000 minus 1895 is 105. This is 105, right? Calculation is your lookout. You have to be very quick in that. So remaining paper is 105 plus 505, which is how much? 655. That's it. So the area of paper that we have is 655. Now the question is approximately how many hollow cylinders of this radius and height, can be made from this remaining paper. Now understand, when you say hollow cylinder, you are talking about a curved surface area of the cylinder. So how much is the requirement? Hollow cylinder. How much area would a hollow cylinder require? Hollow cylinder is nothing but the curved surface area of the cylinder, which is 2 pi RH, right? You understand? In a cylinder, again, this is all basic formula, but we are excluding the lids. Only this area is required. So 2 pi r times h will give you the area required per cylinder. So solve this first of all. 2 into 22 upon 7 into what is the radius? 7 into height is 1. Yeah, so each cylinder would take 44 centimeters square. So number of cylinders. How many will be the number of cylinders? Number of cylinders would be 655. Total area 655 available, divided by 44. I think 660 by 44 is 15, right? Approximately 15. Very close to 15. See, if the numerator is 660 by 44 is 15. 655 and 660 are very close. So 15, approximately 15 cylinders can be made. Approximately 15 cylinders can be wrapped up in my 15, yeah, it should be close to 14.9 or something. 14.9, very close to 14.9. So 15 is the answer. Again, I would say not a very difficult question. It's just about numbers. First, find out the unused paper. From the total area 2000, subtract the required areas for all these shapes. Then also get the remaining paper available now. Remaining paper would be unused paper plus paper which was used for cone, because cone is not being made, right? And now this overall paper available with us is used for making hollow cylinders. Each hollow cylinder requires how much area? 2 pi RH. So 2 into pi into 7 into 1. Get that area. Number of cylinders will be remaining area divided by area required for each cylinder. Comes out to be 15. Okay, so 15, option 1 should be the answer. Clear? Vikram Reddy here has mentioned that instead of that we can also find out the remaining percentage and do it. You can do that also. But Vikram, understand that in the beginning itself, or by the time we have solved the first 3 questions, we have already got most of these values, right? 550, 169, 616, 500, 60. All these have been used, calculated. So you can subtract 2000 minus these values, or you can do percentage wise also. 27.5 plus 25, 52.5 plus 3, 55.5 plus 30, 85.5 plus 0.8, 86.3 plus 8, 94.3 plus 0.45, 94.75, which means 5.25 percentage is left out. 5.25 percentage of 2000 comes out to be 105. Then 105 plus whatever area of the cone. Either ways you get the same answer. What does it mean with no lids? Vijay Kumar has asked a question, right? What is the meaning of no lids? No, see, you understand a cylinder, right? A cylinder is like a round hollow body with a base as circle and top also as circle. No lids meaning the base and the top are not there. It's just the hollow cylinder. It's like a pipe. A real life example is a pipe, a cylindrical pipe. There are no lids, right? No closures or no openings there basically. Both the sides are open, both the circles are open. So only the curved surface area, which is 2 pi RH. Okay, bina dhakkan ke, like somebody has pointed out. Yeah, if you understand that very clearly. Should we go for the next one? I hope all of you have understood this. 15 is the answer. 15 approximately is the answer. I need all the formulae. Radhesham, all the formulae are available in our workbook of mensuration. We have a workbook for mensuration in our TalentSprint program. You can just explore our programs and get access to that workbook. Somebody's asking me a very relevant question, right? He says, should we go for these type of questions in the exam? The challenge is only these type of questions are being asked in the exam these days, right? So if you don't take up these kind of questions, I know these are not as easy as the other data interpretation questions, but what is the choice we have? Solve the easier ones first and then maybe you can take up such ones. Okay, the last question from this data interpretation set on your screens now. Quick. See what it says. Assume that the area of paper is increased by 60% and the radius of the cone is doubled. Now 5 hemispheres of radius 3.5 centimeter are made from the paper. what is the area of the paper that will remain in the end. Use information from the previous questions. So you can use information from the previous questions. What information? Maybe radius of the cone, right? Remember, we had solved for the radius of the cone in one of the previous questions. Which question is that? Radius of the cone. We got it as 7, right? In the first question, radius of the cone. So that information can be used, he says. Yeah. So radius of the cone is 7. This is doubled. So 7 is doubled means it becomes 14. I think that's the only information we need from the previous question. So solve this now. 1 minute again. The clock starts now. Got it? $185. Vishnu is the first one to respond. He says 185, and I think Jagati has also got the same answer. Option 3, 185. Would wait for more responses. Done? 185? Yeah. Vandana has also got 185. VS Raju says it should be 104, which is not there in the options. So option 5 is what he would mark. Vikram Reddy says better to skip. I think it's a simple one. You just have to play with those numbers. It's all about numbers, believe me. Especially when mensuration is involved. There's no need to use the brain, right? Formulae are there, standard formulae. Use those formulae, put up the values, do the simplification, and get your answers. Okay, should we take this now? Vijay Singh has got 177.5. All right, so let's take it up. See what it says. Assume that the area of the paper is increased by 60% and the radius of the cone is doubled. Now 5 hemispheres of radius 3.5 centimeter are made from the paper. What is the area of the paper that will remain in the end? He has asked us to use information from the previous question, which we have already used, right? Information from the previous question was the radius of the cone. Now, first step, assume that the area of the paper is increased by 600. What is the area of the paper? 2000. So, new area will be how much? 2000 plus 60%, which is 3200. 60% of 2000 is 1200. So, 2000 plus 1200, 3200. Or if you see increment in the area, what is the increment in the area? Increment in the area is 1200. 2000, 60% of 2000, which is 1200. Now, what else has happened? Area has increased 1200. Now, radius of the cone is doubled. See, here is the cone, right? The requirement of cone was 27.5%. We found that this came out to be 550, right? Came out to be 550 earlier. But now the radius is double. What is 550? Pi RL is equal to 550. But when the radius is doubled, the area requirement will also double. You are able to follow. For the cone, the requirement was pi RL, which was 550 in the initial case. But now the radius is doubled. In fact, this radius is not required. I mean, we know that this is 550. Now what happened? The radius becomes pi times of 2R into L. So it is twice of pi RL, which means 1100. So earlier what was 550 now has become 1100, which means 550 more. 550 more. Yeah. And also remember the other information that can be used from the previous question is that unused area. Unused paper was 105. I recall that, right? Unused paper was 105 centimeters square. Now if you observe, how much is the remaining paper, how much is the paper with us? See, what is the area of paper that will remain in the end? How much is remaining in the end will calculate it in the end, of course. Now what is the total net area available? Net paper available for hemispheres. Net paper available. What is the net paper available? Simple calculation. See, we already had 105 centimeter of paper available with us, unused paper. So this can be used for making hemispheres. Plus, we got an increment of 1200 centimeters square. So this also can be used for making hemispheres. But the radius of the cone was doubled, because of which the requirement of cone also got doubled. 550 became 1100. So 550 was already there. Now we are taking extra 550. So that 550 should be subtracted. You're getting it? This 1100 is what? 550 plus 550. So the first 550 was already there in the initial paper, 2000. The extra 550 requirement can be taken up from 1200. You're able to follow? So unused paper was 105 initially. We increased the area of the paper by 1200. But because the radius also was doubled, our requirement for cone increased by 550. So that increment should be subtracted here. It is an additional requirement, right? So we remove this 550. So what is the paper left with us to make hemispheres? 1200 minus 550, 650. 650 plus 105 is 755. Yeah. Now using this 755, we are going to make these hemispheres. You know what is a hemisphere, right? Hemisphere is half of a sphere. Half of a sphere. I mean, it's a 3D figure. I'll not be able to draw, but half of a sphere. And requirement for hemisphere, the surface area of hemisphere will be what? See, surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. So for half of the sphere, it will be 2 pi r square plus this circle, pi r square. 2 pi r square plus pi r square, 3 pi r square. You understand? Total will be 3 pi r square. So area for a hemisphere is 2 pi r square plus pi r square, 3 pi r square, 3 pi r square. How many such hemispheres are being made? 5 hemispheres. So let's say requirement for hemispheres. How much is the requirement? 5 hemispheres are being made. So 5 into 3 pi r square. These are all standard formulae, right? You have to remember this. Surface area of a hemisphere. Surface area of a hemisphere is 3 pi r square. So 3 into pi, 22 by 7 into r square. What is radius here? 3.5 he has given. So 3.5 into 3.5. Do the calculation. This goes 2 times. This goes 11 times. Yeah. So 5 into 3 into 11 into 3.5. So 5 into 3, 15. 11 into 3.5. 11 into 3.5 is how much? I mean, just do this calculation and then subtract. He's asking us to find out how much of paper will remain in the end. There's one more step. Find out this value, then take the difference of 755 with that value. So 5 3s is 15. 15 into 11 is 165. 165 into 3.5. You get it? 5 3 is 15. 15 into 11, 165. 165 into 3.5. So 165 into 3 is 495. 165 into 0.5 will be 82.5. So 495 plus 82.5. That's like 582.5 minus 5, which will be 577.5. 577.5. Now, paper left in the end is equal to 755 minus 577.5. So that's like 155 plus 22.5. 177.5 will be the final answer. 177.5, option 2. I know this is complex in terms of calculation, but you got to do it, or simply skip. If you think this is going to take too much of time for you, you better skip in the beginning itself. Don't spend 1 minute, 1.5 minutes and then decide to skip it. If you've already spent about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, then you are better off completing the whole solution. But steps are simple. Understand, we increase the area of the paper by 1200. But our requirement for cone also increased by 550. So net available was 1200 minus 550 plus unused paper was 105. So overall paper available was 755, from which hemispheres were to be made. Requirement for each hemisphere is 3 pi r square, where r is 3.5 as per the question. 5 hemispheres, so 5 times of this. 577.5. Take the difference of these two to get how much of paper will remain in the end. Option 2 will be the answer. Right, 177.5 is the final answer. 755 minus 577.5. It's not 185. Many of you had marked 185. I don't know why or how you arrived at 185, but 185 is the wrong answer. And there's no shortcut. You have to do the solution. You have to follow the solution. There cannot be a shortcut. The only shortcut is the way you deal with these numbers. Radhe Sham says, I want to know that I have obtained 45% in BCom. Is it possible to crack IBPS exams? Even if you have failed in BCom, you can crack IBPS exam. That doesn't matter. Or even if you have not done your graduation, you can crack IBPS exam, because what they ask in IBPS exams is what you have learned in 10th standard. Of course, you will not be eligible to apply for the exam if you have failed. That's a different story. But your percentage in BCom has got nothing to do with your performance in IBPS exam. These two are disjoint in my view. You getting it? Clear? Should we go for the next one? Yeah, I think we are done with this set of questions from mensuration in data interpretation. Let's take up something on number series now, right? Remember, number series it's got a high weightage in RRB exams, IBPS clerks exams, which is coming up, RB assistants exam. So we thought we should take up a couple of questions on number series, and here we have not got straight number series based questions, interesting ones on the pattern of number series. So let me share the screen with all of you. Try this out, give it a shot, 1 minute. You may or may not get the answer. Remember, the one thing that you all need to remember is there is no formula that can give you the answer for number series questions. Give it a shot. 15-20 seconds, 25 seconds can be spent. If you think that you can crack it, fine. Otherwise, skip. These questions can be really time consuming. This is a pure gamble. You don't have to invest so much of your time, right? Skip and move to the next one if you're not able to crack it. So we have 3 or 4 questions. Let me present the first one to you all. Here we go. Aarti Bansal has got confused there. Why did we less 550 there? Why did we subtract 550 there? Aarti, I think you got to watch the solution again once we archive this video into your YouTube channel, into our YouTube channel. We have subtracted 550 because the cone requirement got increased. Try this out. See what it says. In the following number series, only one number is wrong. Only one number is wrong. If the wrong number is corrected, the series gets established following a certain logic. Now, in the series below, a number is given followed by A, B, C, D, E. You have to complete the series following the same logic as in the given series after correcting the wrong number. What should come at place in place of D in the following question? $649. Abhishek Naidu says it should be 649, which is not there in the options. Option 5, none of these. Try to get the logic, establish the logic. I think that's 90% of the solution. Once you have got that, it becomes easy to crack. I think Abhishek, you have found what is C. The question is asking us to find out what comes in place of D. What you have found is C. Okay, I think no point in wasting time on such questions. I'll directly give you the answer, but understand the context first. He says, in the following number series, only one number is wrong. If the wrong number is corrected, the series gets established following a certain logic. So there is a number series given to us, 85, 87, 177, 540, and so on. He says one of the numbers is wrong here. If you correct that number, then there will be a proper logic. You can find that there is a flow in the numbers, right? There is a fashion in which the numbers are obtained. Now in the series below, there is one more series given below, right? A number is given followed by A, B, C, D, and E. So one number is given 104 followed by A, B, C, D, and E. You have to complete the series following the same logic as in the given series. So this series also should be completed using the same logic that we have in the series above. And then find out what comes in place of D. What comes in place of D? What is this number is the question here, right? Now, the logic here is as follows. If you see 85, 87, the complexity here is that we have been given a wrong series. We don't know which number is wrong. So it can get really time consuming. I would strictly suggest that you spend not more than 30 seconds. If in 30 seconds you're able to crack this part of the question, well and good. Otherwise, simply skip and move to the next one, right? Just skip and move to the next one. Anyway, when I try to establish the logic, if you see 85 and 87, it's like into 1 plus 2. 85 into 1, 85 plus 2, 87. But 87 and 177 are like near double, right? So it could be something related to into 2. What is 87 into 2? 87 into 2 is 174. But 174 plus 3 is 177. Here itself I find that there is a pattern. See, into 1 plus 2, into 2 plus 3. So maybe next one should be into 3 plus 4. Into 1, into 2, into 3, into 4, into 5, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6. So going by that, 177 into 3 plus 4. What is 177 into 3? 170 into 3 is 510, 7 into 3 is 21, 531. 531 plus 4 should be 535. This is the wrong number if I go by this pattern. You understand? 540 should be replaced with 535. So the series becomes this: 85, 87, 177, and then it should be 535. According to this logic. Which logic? Into 1 plus 2, into 2 plus 3, into 3 plus 4, and so on. If I continue this, and if I find that the next number is correct, then I am done. Then I can apply the same logic for the next series and get the answer. So what should be the next one? Into 4 plus 5. 535 into 4 plus 5. Let's see what the number is. If that number comes out to be 2145, we are done. So 535 into 4, 500 into 4, 2000, 35 into 4 is 140. 2000 plus 140 is 2140 plus 5, 2145. Is that the number given in the series? Yes. Which means our pattern is correct. The pattern should be into 1 plus 2, into 2 plus 3, into 3 plus 4, into 4 plus 5. And according to which the wrong number is 540. It should be replaced with 535. But anyway, this wrong number has got nothing to do with the answer. What is important here? The pattern is important. The logic is important. Apply the same logic to these numbers now. So 104 into 1 plus 2. 104 into 1 plus 2, 106. So basically A is equal to 106. Then B, and then C, and then D has to be found. How do we get B? Into 2 plus 3. So 106 into 2, 212 plus 3, 215, right? 215. Then how do we get C? Into 3 plus 4. 215 into 3, 645 plus 4, 649. He's asked us to find out what comes in place of D. So we have to do up to D. How do we get D? Into 4 plus 5. 649 into 4. 640 into 4 is 2560. 9 into 4 is 36. 2560 plus 36. 2596 plus 5, 2601. Calculation all about numbers. 2601, which is option 2. Option 2, 2601 should be the answer. So this is how you solve these questions. Okay, option 2 is the answer. Without wasting any more time, let me just go to the next one now. So similar pattern, find out the wrong number in the series and then find out what comes in place of E here. You have to find out what comes in place of E. I'll give you 45 seconds for this. Quickly try this. If you get it, fine. Otherwise, I'll give you the logic. And don't beat your head on the wall for solving these questions, right? You may not get the answer in the exam as well. Be prepared for that, right? You should be ready to skip such questions in the exam. Yeah. It's all about cracking the logic, which can be really time consuming at times. We have got another 35 minutes for the session, 38 minutes. Let's solve as many questions as possible. Waiting for your response to this one. 573, 295. It looks like we are halving the numbers, right? I mean, reduced by half. 573 half, 295 half, 140 half. Very close to half. So something related to division by 2. Divided by 2. I think Nitin has got the answer as 35. Yeah, let's take it up now. Enough time has been spent. Let's take it up. So what do you think is the logic? It's about cracking the logic there, right? See, if I actually look at from the reverse of the series, it's like this, no? Minus 3 divided by 2. 33 minus 3, 30, by 2 is 15. Similarly, 69 minus 3, 66 divided by 2. So the pattern is straight. It is minus 3 by 2. Look at the first two numbers also. 573 minus 3, 570 divided by 2 is 295. Right? Or no? No, it's not 295. It's 285. It's supposed to be 285. So basically the wrong number is 285. The wrong number is 285. You understand? This should be 285. Now 285 minus 3 by 2. 285 minus 3 is 282. 282 by 2 is 141. 141 minus 3, 138. 138 by 2 is 169. So clearly the pattern is what? Minus 3 divided by 2 to get the next number. That's it. Apply the same pattern to these numbers now. Right? So we have 12, 13, A, B, C, D, E. I'm doing the calculation mentally to save time. So 12, 13 minus 3, 12, 10. 12, 10 by 2, 605. So this is 605. 605 minus 3, 602. Divide by 2, 602 divided by 2, 301. Right? 301 minus 3, 298. 298 divided by 2, 149. Right? 298 by 2 is 149. Correct. 149. 149 minus 3, 146. 146 by 2, 73. 73 minus 3, 70. Divided by 2, 35. So I think the whole question is about minus 3 divided by 2. You should crack this logic, apply it to get the answer as option 3. And quickly the last one from this series of questions. 1 minute for this. Clock starts now. Three, 4, 5, 9, 8,500, 12,221, 14,800, 16,503, 17,464. Typical numbers here, huh? See if you're able to crack this. Got the answer, anyone? 15,740, 18,620, and skip. I think the most common response that we have is to skip the question. Yeah. I didn't get the logic. I may wait for the answer post. Well, yes. I mean, I was reading out a comment. To be honest, even I didn't get the logic when I was trying it. But then apparently it works like this. You look at the differences, right? Differences in the numbers. 3, 4, 5, 9, 8,500. What's the difference? Plus 5041, right? Then 8,500 and 12,221. What's the difference? It is 3,721, right? Then if you take the difference between 12,221 and 14,800, that difference comes out to be around 2600 or 2579 or something, right? But then observe something interesting in these two numbers, right? 5041 and 3721. These are perfect squares. 5041 is 71 square. 3721 is 61 square. So if I continue this pattern, I think next one should be 51 square, right? What is 51 square? 2051. Sorry, 2601, right? So I should add 2601. Which means this number is wrong, because 12,221 plus 2601 will not give you 14,800. See, this is 51 square. Then this should be 41 square, and this should be 31 square. Sum. Do you understand? I mean, if you actually check, the difference between 16,503 and 17,464 is actually 31 square. How much is the difference? How much is the difference here? 961. You see, 16,503 plus 961 will give you 14,464. 961 is 31 square. So basically the pattern is this. The wrong number is 14,800, which is of no use. We are supposed to apply the same logic here to get the answer. But the pattern is plus 71 squared, plus 61 squared, plus 51 squared, and so on, plus 41 squared, and so on. So apply that. 4516 plus 71 square will give you A, plus 61 square will give you B, plus 51 square will give you C, and that's what we are supposed to find, what comes in place of C here. So on doing the calculation, right, I mean, same numbers have to be added. Same numbers have to be added. You have to add 5041 plus 5041 to get A. Then to A you have to add 67 square, which is 3721, to get B, and to B you have to add 51 square, which is 2601, to get C. So do that calculation, you will eventually find that 15,879, option 4 is the answer. Let's not waste our time in doing the calculation here. You can do it yourself and get the required answer. The pattern is important, right? It is plus 71 square, plus 61 square, plus 51 square, and so on. So with that, we also are done with this set of questions on number series which we wanted to take up. So I think interesting questions there, right? Data interpretation, which involved mensuration, lot of formula to be used, lot of simplification to be done, and of course number series again is all about numbers, right? You should be thinking divergently. You should be able to find out the differences quickly. You should do that trial and error very quickly there. Otherwise it gets difficult. Yeah, and especially in the previous question, if you are not very comfortable in finding out squares, you will not be able to crack it. So I think of the 3 number series questions, the third one was very difficult for me, and if I had taken the exam, I would have skipped. I'll just skip and go to the next one. Remember, one of the best shortcuts that we have in these competitive exams is to skip the question. You don't have to solve every particular question there, right? Each and every question there. Yeah. Chalo, so done with those set of questions in the number series. Let me take up the next set of questions now. Now we have seen that in last year's exams, some of the exams last year, they gave this quantity 1 and quantity 2 in each question. Yeah, there was one quantity, there was another quantity, not a numerical value directly, but some expression which needs to be solved to arrive at the numerical value, and then do the comparison. So we have to find out, is quantity 1 more than quantity 2, or less than quantity 2, or less than or equal to quantity 2. That comparison needs to be done. So basically this is about solving those miscellaneous problems, right? Questions can be on ages, questions can be on time and work, time and distance, profit and loss. Solve those 2 quantities for those 2 quantities and then do the comparison. Yeah, so time consuming, because 2 questions have to be solved to get that one answer, right? But there's no way out, right? I mean, either you do it or you skip it. So let's discuss a couple of such questions and then we will move to the next set if time allows us, right? So here we go. The next question on that pattern on your screens now. See what it says. Directions, very clear. Find the correct relationship between the given quantities. So quantity 1 and quantity 2. What is quantity 1? Sun's age at the time of release is quantity 1. And that remaining data is used for finding out the sun's age at the time of release. So if his father Ramesh was sentenced to imprisonment for 28 years and blah blah blah. Quantity 2. What is quantity 2? Average of the present ages of Deepak and Divyam. If, now from if onwards is the data which can be used to find out the average. So quantity 1 is the sun's age at the time of release. Quantity 2 is the average of the present ages of Deepak and Divyam. Solve for these 2 questions and then compare and find out if 1 is more than 2, more than or equal to 2, less than 2, less than or equal to 2, or no relationship exists between these 2. Okay, some of you, I think Rahul Kumar wants the GBO class, the General Banking Officers Scale 2 class there. We will let you know, Rahul, whenever we do a session on that. For now, let's focus on what's happening here. Yeah. So solve for these two questions. Both are on ages. Solve for these two, and then we will move to the next one. Okay, confusions here. Option 3, option 4 is what I've seen as answers, right? Radhesham has got option 4, which means 1 is less than or equal to 2. Shanawaz has got option 3, which is 1 more than 2. Okay. Others, see, I'm giving you more time because 2 questions have to be solved, but that does not mean that you take unlimited time, right? You should have got the answers by now. So here is where your concepts of ages would be useful, right? You should know how to deal with questions or problems on ages. What do you mean by 4 years hence, 4 years ago, or X years hence, X years ago? Framing the equation is very important, right? Read the question, frame the equation properly, and then solve those equations to get the answers. Should we solve now? One complex ratio given here, 41 9 by 11 is to 32 6 by 7 in the second quantity. So deal with that carefully. Yeah. Let's solve this now. Let's solve this. Enough time has been spent. So the question is about comparison of quantities. We are going to compare 2 quantities. Quantity 1, which is son's age at the time of release, and quantity 2, which is the average of the present ages of Deepak and Divyam. Okay. So let's work on quantity 1 first. I'll do one thing. I'll use different colors for different solutions, different quantities, so that you don't get confused. Okay. So let's, I mean, just to, otherwise it will look messy. So I'm trying to, I'll do one thing. I'll solve quantity 1 in this color, son's age at the time of release, and we'll solve quantity 2 in some other color. And I'm doing this because I have the advantage of doing it. I mean, I have the flexibility of luxury of doing it. Otherwise, no way. Anyway, so son's age at the time of release. We are focusing on son's age at the time of release. If his father, Ramesh, was sentenced to imprisonment for 28 years. Now let us assume that son's age is S and father's age is F. Right? What ages? Ages at the time of release. Son's age at the time of release is S. Father's age also at the time of release will be F. Yes or no? Father's age also at the time of release is going to be F. Okay? S and F are the ages at the time of release. Okay, father at the time of release. Now Ramesh is the name of the father. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Was sentenced to imprisonment for 28 years. He was sentenced for 28 years. Now remember, at the time of his release, his son was 4 more than half his age. At the time of his release, meaning what? At the time of his release, he was F years old and son was S years old. These are the ages at the time of release. Now the question says that at the time of release, his son was 4 more than half his age. Which means the first equation would be this. S was equal to 4 more than half his age. 4 more, so 4 plus half his age. 4 plus F by 2. That's the first equation. His son was 4 more than half his age. Half his age is F by 2. 4 more than that, 4 plus F by 2 was the age of the son. When? At the time of release. We have considered the ages at the time of release to be S and F respectively. Now understand, if the ages at the time of release are S and F, what were the ages when he was sentenced to jail? See, he was sentenced for how many years? 28 years. That means on the day of release, ages are S and F. when the father was sent to jail, their ages were S minus 28 and F minus 28 respectively. Yes or no? S minus 28 and F minus 28. Because 28 years ago, exactly 28 years ago, his father was sent to jail. Because total imprisonment was for 28 years. Now remember this point, S minus 28 and F minus 28. Now the next point, at the time of release, his son was 4 more than half his age. This is done. Next point, 4 years before the sentence, he was 6 times his son's age. 4 years before the sentence. See, at the time of sentence, he was F minus 28. 4 years before this, which means F minus 28 minus 4. 4 years again down before, 4 years ago. So 4 years before, which means further subtraction by 4 years. So 4 years before the sentence, he was 6 times his son's age. He is who? The father. So 4 years before the sentence, father's age would be F minus 28 minus 4. He was 6 times his son's age. What was son's age? See, son's age at the time of sentencing was F minus 28, but 4 years before that, his age was F minus 28 minus 4. You get it? So these are the 2 equations. Solve for the 2 equations, you'll get the answer. You're able to follow? We are assuming that ages at the time of release are S and F. So at the time of sentencement, where S minus 28, F minus 28. 4 years before the sentencing, which S minus 32 and F minus 32. I mean, I can directly write 32, 32 also, but yeah, anyway. So these are the 2 equations. What do you have to solve for? You have to solve for son's age, S. S is equal to what? Solve for S. So I think from this I can say F is equal to 2 times of S minus 4. F is equal to S minus 4 into 2. 2 times of S minus 4. Now substitute that S equals to 2 times of S minus 4 in this position here. Hence, overall, get the answer. Oh, sorry, this should be S. I have taken F. I'm sorry about this. I have taken F on both the sides. This should be S. Son, 6 times his son's age, right? 6 times his son's age. 6. Now substitute, what do we get? You have to solve for it, no choice. So 2S minus 8. F is equal to 2S minus 2 into 4, 8. 2S minus 8 minus 28 minus 4 is minus 32. Equals to, how much is this? 6S minus, 28 and 4 is 32, 6 into 32. And now you have to simplify this. So I think I'll get 6S minus 2S, 4S equals to 6 into 32 minus 32 is 5 into 32. 5 into 32 is 160. 160 minus 8 is 152. Yeah, so 4S is 152, which means S is equal to 38. S is equal to 38. Son's age is 38. So the quantity 1 is 38. Remember, quantity 1 is 38. Now do the quantity 2. This is Q1 calculation. Let me do Q2 calculation. No need of using different colors and all that drama. Okay, let's take the quantity 2 now. What is quantity 2? Average of present ages of Deepak and Divyam. So we have to find out the average of the present ages of Deepak and Divyam. Work on that. So this was quantity 1. This is quantity 2. Okay, see what it says. Their present ages are in the ratio of 41 9 by 11 is to 32 6 by 7. We have to first work on this. Deepak and Divyam, right? So let's say age of Deepak is E and age of Divyam is I. I mean, I cannot use D and D. So E and I. E for Deepak, I for Divyam. I'm taking the next character basically. So what is he saying? E by I, E is to I, is equal to 41 9 by 11. 41 9 by 11 and 32 6 by 7. So directly simplify, no, 41 into 11 plus 9 is to, you know this calculation, right? How do we simplify mixed fractions into improper fractions? 32 into 7 plus 6 by 7, right? 32 times 7 plus 6 by 7. I mean, you should do it mentally. I'm just writing it here so that you know what calculation has been done. Yeah, so 41 into 11, 410 plus 41, 451 plus 9, 460. This is 460 by 11. 32 into 7, so 210 plus 14, 224 plus 6, 230. 230 by 7. Yeah, again I think 230 gets cancelled twice, 2 times here. So final ratio will be 2 into 7, 11. 2 into 7, 14 is to 11. 14. So present ages are in the ratio 14 is to 11. E is to I. Yeah, so 14x and 11x. Now 3 years hence, the ratio of the ages will be 5 is to 4. So 14x and 11x. Now 3 years hence. What do you mean by 3 years hence? After 3 years. So after 3 years, ages will be 14x plus 3 divided by 11x plus 3. This is equal to 5 by 4. See, options are not there. If options are given, we could have solved without using this, without doing this calculation. But here, since options are not there, exact calculation needs to be done. So solve for x now. From this, solve for x. 14 into 4, 56x. 5 into 11, 55x. 56x minus 55x, x equals to 5 into 3, 15 minus 3 into 4, 12. 15 minus 12, 3. X comes out to be 3. So what are the present ages? 14x and 11x, right? So 14 into 3, 42, and 11 into 3, 33. What is he asking us to find out? Average of their percentages. So average of their percentages will be what? 42 plus 33. 42 plus 33 divided by 2. Do that. 75 by 2 basically. 75 by 2 is 37.5. 37.5. So the quantity 2 is 37.5. Now do the comparison. 38 and 37.5. Clearly quantity 1 is more than quantity 2. Quantity 1 is more than quantity 2. Q1 is more than Q2. Option 3 is the answer. Option 3 is the answer. Okay. So that's about it. Nothing complex. It's just that it would be a little time consuming. There cannot be a shortcut. And we cannot even use shortcuts like using options and things like that, because options are not given for individual questions, right? Individual quantities, we don't have the options. We have options only for the comparison. And directly by looking at the options, you can't do anything unless the question is something where you directly get a hint that 1 will be more than 2 or 2 will be more than 1, etc. So quickly solve the 2 questions, 2 quantities, and then compare. Clear? I'm sure all of you have followed this. Should we go for the next one now? Should we take up the next question? Somebody wanted me to solve questions on time and work, right? There was a request in the start of the session. So let's take something on time and work. So we are going to solve 2 questions on time and work, but then these 2 questions have to be solved within the 1 question that we have next, right? I mean, basically each question is like each quantity, a quantity there. So solve for quantity 1, then for quantity 2, and do the comparison. Ready? Next question. So Pinky Mercy says, but it will take time, right? It will take time. There cannot be a shortcut for every question. You got to understand that. We don't have a shortcut for every single question in the exam. That is the reason I've been telling always that you got to practice on numbers from day 1. Anyway, the next question is on your screens now. This is on time and work. Solve for the 2 quantities and get the answer. All right, guys, answer to this one. So the question is based on time and work, like I mentioned. 2 questions here. Quantity 1 is about A and B, some equations or conditions given there, and quantity 2 is about X, Y, and Z. Anyone who's got the answer? Manish wants me to repeat question number 1. Manish, I would love to do that, but we are running short on time. And moreover, the advantage you have is you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, watch this video once it is uploaded in our channel, and learn it yourself later on. So there's no point in me repeating it. Answer for this one now. Quantity 1 versus quantity 2. What's the answer? Option 2. Deepthi has got 2, which means 1 is greater than 2 is what Deepthi says. Yeah. Rahul says 4 and 6 are the quantities. Okay. Okay, I think I'll take up the solution now to this question, and then we'll move on to the other a couple of independent questions maybe. But I have a very interesting comment here from Nikhil Sharma, who says इतने tough questions कभी आएंगे ही नहीं, और आए तो भी 90% will leave, so not worthy to do these type of questions. Well, Nikhil, see, हमें प्रॉब्लम हमेशा ये रही है ना कि अगर easy question डिस्कस करो तो फीडबैक आता है कि बॉस इतने इजी क्वेश्चन नहीं आते हैं, राइट? डिफिकल्टी लेवल बढ़ाना चाहिए. जब डिफिकल्ट डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, देन यू फील इट्स नॉट अबाउट यू, आई मीन नथिंग, यू शुड नॉट बी टेकिंग इट पर्सनली, बट द आइडिया इज दैट वी हैव ऑलवेज गॉट दिस मिक्स्ड रेस्पॉन्स, right? And what is moderate? It's difficult to decide a question is moderate. Either it's easy or difficult. And these type of questions are being asked. And nothing wrong in getting ready for a tougher level, right? It will be easier for you to solve the question in the exam. Yeah. So I think that's the point. That's the reason we have chosen such questions. Anyway, let's move to the solution for this one now. And I've got a mixed response for this question as well. Most of you have got option 3 as the answer, which is 1 less than 2, but some of you have also got option 2, which means 1 greater than 2, right? Option 1 greater than 2. So let's solve this now. Let's take it up. Here we go. Quantity 1 versus quantity 2. Now what is quantity 1? More number of days A will take than B to finish the work independently. This is quantity 1. If onwards the condition starts. So from there the real question is you have to solve and then find out to the value here, quantity 1, and then quantity 2. What is quantity 2? Days taken by them together to finish the job. By them here is what? X, Y and Z, right? X, Y and Z. If some data given there, some conditions given there. So let's solve it. Yeah. Should we solve this now? All right, let's solve this. So quantity 1 and quantity 2. Quantity 1, more number of days A will take than B to finish the work independently. So basically in quantity 1 we have to find out A minus B. What is A difference B? More number of days A will take than B to finish the work independently, and days taken by them together to finish the job independently. Days taken by them together to finish the job. This is about quantity 2. Okay. So solve for quantity 1 first. Quantity 1. Quantity 1, right? Now what does it say? He's talking about A and B here. He says if they both work daily, if they work daily, provided, yeah, I think quantity 1 actual question is still this point, right? Yeah, so more number of days A will take than B to finish the work independently if they both work daily, provided 2 men A and B working alternately after every 2 days can finish a work in 14 days with A starting the work first. And if they work together daily, then they can finish 120% of the same work in 8 days. Now try and understand. He says there are two men A and B working alternately after every 2 days. And then they can finish the work in 14 days. Starting with A. A starts the work first. See, understand. They are working alternatively. We have discussed this type of question, right? What happens when people work alternately? It's first day A works, second day B, then A and then B, and then A and then B, and so on, right? So if they work for 14 days, I can say 7 days A has worked and 7 days B has worked. In these 14 days, 7 days A would have worked and the remaining 7 days B would have worked. But be careful. Here, they are working alternately after every 2 days. Be very careful. So once you say after every 2 days, you cannot divide 14 days equally between A and B. Because what would happen is, if you see, let's write 1 to 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are all days, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you don't have to do this in the exam, I'm just trying to explain you what's the case here, right? So who will work on first and second day? A. Third and fourth day? B. Fifth and sixth day? A. Seventh and eighth day? B. Ninth and 10th day? A. 11th and 12th day? B. And then 13th and 14th day, again A comes back into picture. So for how many cycles has A worked? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cycles of 2 days each. First and second day, fifth and sixth day, 9th and 10th day, 13th and 14th day, 8 days. And B has worked only for 3 cycles, third and fourth day, 7th and 8th day, and 11th and 12th day. So 3 into 2, 6 days. So if you observe, out of these 14 days, A has contributed for 8 days and B has contributed for 6 days. And they could finish the work. And A had started the work. Suppose if he says B had started the work, then what happens? B would have taken 8 days and A would have taken 6 days. So I think the first condition is that A works for 8 days, B works for 6 days, they finish the work. You know that if A works for 8 days, the total, see, in each day A can do 1 by A. In each day B can do 1 by B. A work for 8 days, so 8 by A. B work for 6 days, so 6 by B. You understand? The capacities are 1 by A and 1 by B. A work for 8 days and B work for 6 days. So 8 times of 1 by A, 6 times of 1 by B equals to 1. They finish the work, right? They finish the work. Work can always be taken as 1 unit. The total work can be taken as 1. Unitary method. Remember unitary method? We have discussed about this in our time and work videos. You can follow that. So 8 by A plus 6 by B equals to 1. That's the first equation. Yeah. Second equation. What is second equation? If they work together daily, if they work together, now they are working together, not alternately. Earlier they were working alternately. Now they are working together daily. They can finish 120% of the same work in 8 days. Now when they are working together for 8 days, what happens? A will do 8 by A times of the work and B will do 8 by B times of the work. You understand? A's capacity, in each day A can do 1 by A. So 8 days, 8 by A. In each day B can do 1 by B. 8 days, 8 by B. How much of work will they finish? 120% of the same work. See, work for us is equal to 1 unit. So 120% of the work implies what? 120% of the work. 120% of the work is equal to 1.2. You understand? 120% of 1. 120% of 1 is 1.2. So this should be equal to 1.2. That's it. These are the two equations. Solve for these two equations, get the values of A and B, and then take A minus B as the answer for quantity 1. A minus C as the answer for quantity 1. You're able to follow? I hope all of you are getting it, right? Now solve for this, what happens? I think if I directly subtract the first equation from the second one, what do we get? 8 by A and 8 by A gets cancelled. 8 by B minus 6 by B. So 2 by B equals to 0.2. 2 by B is equal to 0.2, right? 1.2 minus 1 is 0.2, which implies B is equal to 10. B is equal to 10. B is equal to 10. Now substitute B equals to 10 somewhere. B equals to 10. So 8 by A plus 6 by 10 is 3 by 5 equals to 1. So 1 minus 3 by 5, 2 by 5. 8 by A equals to 2 by 5. 8 by A equals to 2 by 5 implies A is equal to 8 into 5, 40 by 2, 20. A is equal to 20. And I'm solving it mentally. You can also do it yourself. A comes out to be 20. What is he asking us to find out? More number of days A will take than B to finish the work independently. So if they are working independently, I know that A can finish the work in 20 days. B will finish it in 10 days. So how many more days does A take? A takes 10 more days, right? 20 minus 10. 20 minus 10, which is equal to 10. So quantity 1 is equal to 10. For us, quantity 1 is equal to 10. Now work on quantity 2. Right? What is quantity 2? Days taken by them together to finish the job if among X, Y and Z, X and Y together can do a piece of work in 40 days, right? Y and Z can together do it in 30 days, and Z and X can together do it in 24 days. Simply, if you understand, 1 by X plus 1 by Y equals to 1 by 40. 1 by Y plus 1 by Z equals to 1 by 30. And 1 by Z plus 1 by X is equal to 1 by 24. You understand? X and Y work together. So X will do 1 by X, Y will do 1 by Y. They can do it in 40 days. That means the total capacity is 1 by 40. Similarly for the other two pairs. This is a standard question. Quantity 2 is a standard question from time and work. In fact, this is model 2 or I think model 3 of our time and work videos. We have discussed the same question type there. So straight away, I mean, you don't even have to write this. You can in fact take LCM of these three values, right? Find out the overall capacity and then divide by 2 to get the required answer. Anyway, when you solve altogether, what happens? You see 2 times of 1 by X plus 1 by Y plus 1 by Z. Right? See 1 by X, 1 by X, 2 1 by X, 1 by Y, 1 by Y, 2 1 by Y, and 1 by Z and 1 by Z, 2 1 by Z equals to sum of these three, 1 by 40 plus 1 by 30 plus 1 by 24. Okay. Now solve for this 1 by 40, 1 by 30, 1 by 24. I think LCM is how much? 120 is LCM, right? So 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. 3 plus 4, 7 plus 5, 12. 12 by 120, which is 1 by 10. It comes out to be 1 by 10. Now twice of their capacity is 1 by 10. That means their actual capacity will be how much? 1 by 20. You understand? 2 times of their capacity comes out to be 1 by 10. Actual capacity of all three of them together will be 1 by 20. I mean, taking this 2 in the denominator, 1 by 20. That means the total capacity working together is 1 by 20. So how many days will they take? 20 days. So the number of days taken by them to finish the job is 20 days. So quantity 2 is 20. Now what's the comparison? Quantity 1 is less than quantity 2. Option 3 should be the answer. Again, quantity 1 is 10, quantity 2 is 20. So 1 is less than 2. Quantity 1 is less than quantity 2. Option 3 is the answer. Yeah. I hope all of you have followed this. Quantity 1 is 10 and quantity 2 is 20. Durga Prasad has got it right. I remember some of you had marked 6 as the answer for this question. I mean 6 as in quantity 2, you mentioned that it should be 6. How will it be 6? 1 by 40, 1 by 30, 1 by 24, right? LCM is 120, 3, 4 and 5. 1 by 10, 1 by 10, then 1 by 20. So it should be 1 by 2, 1 by 20, which means 20 days, right? Yeah, so quantity 1 is less than quantity 2. Option 3. So these are the new question types. Not really new, but yeah, 2 questions clubbed together to get you that 1 mark. Okay. If you are clear with this, we'll move to the next one. I think we are running short of time. It's already 1 o'clock. We are supposed to close the session by 1, and it's 1:05 in fact. So we will maybe spend another few minutes to solve one independent question, maybe 1 or 2 independent questions, and then call it a day. Yeah. Should we go for the next one? Ravneet Singh has asked a question, right? How to register on your portal? You can visit our website, Ravneet, talentsprint.com, www.talentsprint.com, www.talentsprint.com, and find out about our programs there. I actually have a very interesting question on missing data interpretation type, but we are too short on time to take it up, right? What I would do is, maybe record a video on the same and upload it on a YouTube channel. So it will be very helpful for all of you if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, so that whenever these videos are uploaded, content videos are uploaded, you get notified, right? And you can access these. I would have loved to solve it now itself, but I'll have to close the session in a few minutes, right? So I'll not take this up. Very interesting, missing data, and it involves boats and streams. So there is a table given to us. It's talking about total distance covered, the speed of the boat, speed of the stream, upstream and downstream cases for 3 different boats A, B and C. But a lot of values are missing there. I think out of out of whatever 3 times 5, 15 values, only 6, 7 are given, and the rest have to be found through the data given in the questions. So going to be very interesting and challenging. We will not take it up now, but I'll upload a video, don't worry about that. But like I said, if you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, it will be very helpful. And TalentSprint students need not worry, they will get it directly in their learning account, and they can access it 24/7 whenever they want to. So let's take maybe one more question before we close the session. Should we take one more on time and work? Yeah, let's take one more question on time and work. Here's the question. We have somebody asking me a question that is RRB clerk exam tough? Please reply. No, it's not tough. No exam is tough. RRB clerk exam is also easy. Okay, here's a question on time and work that we will solve now. It says Ram completed a piece of work in 10 days. When the work was extended by 75%, Ram reduced his speed by 8 times for the extended work. For the same extended work only, Ravi took 3.2 B days. If they work together to finish the initial work, excluding the extended work, they would take 10 by 47 days and 7 13 by 21 days if Ram worked at his slower and faster speeds respectively during his entire work. Then A plus B is equal to what? Take A and B up to 2 decimal places. Very interesting question. You should try and solve it yourself. I'll give you at least a couple of minutes to try this. The clock starts now. Let's see how many of you are able to solve. And believe me, if you can solve this question easily, you are very good in time and work, the concepts of time and work. Yeah. So a tough one. Let's see how many of you get it right. Try and break the sentences, the question into parts, right? Comprehend each part first and then solve for it. Vishwanath says it's very confusing. Yeah, it is confusing. That is the reason I'm saying break it up into parts and then solve each of the parts there. (1.23). Somebody's already got the answer. 1.23. Got it? Sai Chandrika says, when is the IBPS clerk refresher series? Well, Sai Chandrika, let me tell you that the IBPS clerks refresher series for TalentSprint students has already started. We are doing some 28 live classes, special live classes for IBPS clerks exam and the RBI assistants exam, both. And those have already started, but available only to TalentSprint students in their learning platform, right? Not on YouTube. Shall we solve this now? I don't think anybody's got. Radhesham has got the answer. He says it should be option 4, 1.23. Manoj has got option 2, 0.03. Yeah. Let's wait for more answers. Tough one, right? Really a tough one. Hitesh has got 1.23 and somebody says it's difficult to understand. All right, so probably the last question of the session today. Maybe we'll take one more question, depends on how much time this would take, right? So how many of you have got struck? I'm sure 95% of you have got stuck, right? Only 2-3 of you have marked the answer, but how many of you are still trying it out and you want more time? Because for me at this point of time, more than quick answer, accuracy is important. I mean, I would love to spend maybe 5 more minutes just standing here and you solving it yourself than, you know, me giving you the explanation. Prem Ranjan has got 0.9. Deepthi has also got 0.9, which is option 3 here. So I think many of you have started getting the answers now, but how many of you are stuck? How many of you have got no clue about how to proceed? Yeah, Vijay Kumar says, I'm stuck and I've skipped it. That's intelligent. And see, when you get this question in the exam, the first thing that you should do is, in my view, I would skip it. While we can solve it ourselves, but what's the point in solving something which would take more time than other simpler questions, right? Remember, a smart student is not the one who can solve all the questions. A smart student is the one who can solve the easier ones first. You have to be very wise in choosing your questions, right? So you are not right when you solve it. In my view, you are right when you skip it and go to the next one. All right. Those who solve it are also correct, but what's the point? You will be spending about 2 minutes. So skipping is the best shortcut. Like I said many times, to skip the question is the shortcut formula. Yeah. So skip it and go to the next one in the exam. Let me start solving this one for you, right? Here we go. Understand the question. It says Ram completed a piece of work in 10 days. Ram completed a piece of work in 10 days. When the work was extended by 75%, Ram reduced his speed by 8 times for the extended work. For the same extended work only, Ravi, another person, took 3.2 B days. If they worked together to finish the initial work, excluding the extended work, they would take 10 by 47 days and 13 by 21 days if Ram worked at his slower and faster speeds respectively during his entire work. Then A plus B is equal to what? Take A and B up to 2 decimal places. Yeah. So he is asking us to find out the sum of A and B, the 2 variables used here. Yeah. Now reread the question because it's important that you understand the question very clearly. Ram completed a piece of work in 10 days. Ram can do a piece of work in 10 days. So can you say Ram's capacity is 1 by 10? Ram's capacity is 1 by 10. His speed is 1 by 10. Yeah. When the work was extended by 75%, Ram reduced his speed by 8 times for the extended work. Ram reduced his speed. Reduced his speed by how much? Reduced his speed by a times. Now, what do you mean by reducing the speed by a times? That's a very important part to be understood. What does it mean when he says Ram has reduced his speed by a time? What does it mean? See, when you say Ram's capacity is 1 by 10, means what? He can do 1/10 of the work in one day. Ram can complete a piece of work in 10 days, right? We usually assume that work is equal to 1 unit. The total work is equal to 1 unit, right? We're going by unitary method. So the total work is 1 unit. Ram will do 1/10 of this work in one day. So in 10 days, he will do the whole work. Yeah. Now, when the work was extended by 75%, how much is the extended work, by the way? Original work is equal to 1 unit. Original work is 1 unit. What is the extended work? Extended work is 75% of this work. 75% of 1, which is equal to 0.75. You don't have to write this full statement in the exam, right? You just know that extended work is 0.75 because it is 75% of the work, overall work. Ram reduced his speed by 8 times for the extended work. Understand that if Ram is reduced by speed, see, what is Ram's speed currently? 1 by 10. Capacity is nothing but his speed, right? Capacity, efficiency, speed, all denote the same thing. So his actual speed is 1 by 10. But what is Ram's reduced speed? Let's say Ram dash, I mean R dash or whatever, right? His reduced speed will be 1 by 10a. He reduced it by 8 times. Understand? Don't take minus a. Reduction generally means subtraction in general, right? But then 8 times, reduced by 8 times. Reduced by 8 times, which means if he can finish the work in 10 days at regular speed, he will take 10 days to finish that slower speed. At faster speed, he can do the work in 10 days, right? At slower speed, when he has reduced the speed, he will take 10 days. He will take 10 into a days, 10 days. See, when the speed is reduced, number of days will increase. So that is the reason multiplying by a. 10 days. If he takes 10 days, what will be the capacity? 1 by 10a. If he takes 10 days, what will be the capacity? 1 by 10. So 1 by 10 is the higher speed. 1 by 10a is the reduced speed or slower speed. 1 by 10a. Right? Now for the same extended work only, meaning what? For 0.75 work, Ravi took 3.2b days. So we know Ram's original speed, we know Ram's slower speed, Ram's faster speed, Ram's slower speed. Now let's find out Ravi's speed. What is Ravi's speed? What is Ravi's speed? Ravi can do 0.75 of the work in 3.2b days. This is Ravi's speed. Understand? Ravi's speed is 0.75 by 3.2b. See, what do you mean by capacity? Total work by number of days. Total work 1 unit, number of days 10. So 1 by 10. Total work 1 unit, number of days number of days taken will be 10 by a, right? Total work 0.75, number of days taken will be 3.2b. So his capacity or his efficiency or his speed is 0.75 by 3.2b. And remember, in this case, while we are taking the reduced speed as 1 by 10a, Ram reduced his speed only for the extended work, not for the whole work, only for the extended work, but then his speed is 1 by 10a. 1 by 10 was the original speed, reduced by 8 times. So it becomes 1 by 10. So these are the 3 important parameters: Ram's faster speed, Ram's slower speed, and Ravi's speed. These 3 are important. Yeah. Now what he says, now look at the question. If they work together, if both of them work together, who are the 2 persons? Ram and Ravi. Ram and Ravi work together to finish the initial work, excluding the extended work. Exclude the extended work. That means they are only going to do 1 unit of work. Right? They are only going to do 1 unit of work. So if they work together, they will take 10 by 47 days and 13 by 21 days if Ram worked at slower speed and faster speed respectively. See, Ram has got 2 speeds. So basically there are 3 persons, let's say. There are 3 persons. Who are the 3 persons? Ram, Ram dash and Ravi. So when Ravi and Ram dash works together, Ram dash is the slowest Ram, right? When Ravi and Ram dash work together, they will take 10 by 47 days. When Ravi and Ram work together, they'll take 13 by 21 days to finish the work. To finish the work. What work? 1 unit of work. Then what is a plus b is the question. How do you solve it? Simple. Understand. Let's look at this part first. When Ram is working on his original speed, faster speed, respectively, right? Respectively. So when Ram is working on the faster speed, number of days required is 13 by 21. Now, when Ram and Ravi are working, when these 2 persons are working, what happens? Ram's speed is 1 by 10. Ravi's speed is, let's simplify it here. 0.75 by 3.2 can be taken as what? simplify, it can be taken as 75 by 320, right? I mean, I'm just trying to do away with the decimal part so that it becomes easier. Yeah, let's take it as 75 by 320b, or simplified further, I think 5 into 15, 5 into 64. Yeah, so 15 by 64b, 15 by 64b. This is Ravi's speed. So when Ram and Ravi are working, Ram works at 1 by 10 speed, Ravi works at 15 by 64b speed. What's the number of days required? 713 by 21. 713 by 21. Simplify this first. 713 by 21. So 7 into 21 plus 13. 147 plus 13. 160 by 21. Right? 160 by 21. So this is one equation. This is one equation. What's the other equation? When Ram dash and Ravi are working. When Ram dash and Ravi are working, what happens? 1 by 10a plus Ravi's regular speed. 115 by 64b. Number of days required is how much? 10 by 47. 10 by 47. So this becomes what? 470 plus 10. 480 by 47. 480 by 47. This is second equation. Two equations and two variables can you solve? Here the only variable is b in first equation. In the second equation it is a and b. So solve for b from this one. Substitute that b here, solve for a, and then take a plus b. So time consuming, there is a calculation involved. You have to work on this now, but then that's the way you do it. There's no other way out. You getting it? Solve for a, solve for b. Two equations and two unknowns. You getting it? So from the first equation, what do we get? I mean, let me solve for b. From the first equation, what do we get? 160 by 21 minus 1 by 10 equals to 15 by 64b, which implies, see, if I take 210 as the LCM, 1600 minus 21 by 210. So b comes out to be 15 by 64 into, this was 1600 minus 21 is how much? 1580, right? Approximately 1580 or 1579. 1571 9 by 210. It becomes 210 by 1579 when I take it to the other side, right? You're able to follow? I mean, I'm because of short, lack of space, I'm just skipping a few steps in between, but that's what you'll get now. 1600 minus 21, 1579 by 210 equals to 15 by 64. So b comes out to be 15 by 64 into 210 by 1579. Solve for this approximately. This goes how many times? 15 by 1579, 105 times, right? 105 times, because 15 into 100 is 1500, 15 into 5 is 75, 1575. 15 into 105 is 1575, very close to 1575, right? And then 210 by 105 is exactly 2. 2 by 64 is 1 by 32. 1 by 32. 1 by 32 is what? 0.3, right? Sorry, 1 by 32 is 0.03, right? 0.03. So b comes out to be 0.03. B comes out to be 0.03. Clear? B comes out to be 0.03. 1 by 32. 1 by 32 is approximately 0.03. Now substitute b equals to 0.03 in this equation. Solve for a. I don't have enough space. What do I do? So let's see what happens. From 2, what do we get now? From 2 we get 1 by 10a, right, plus 15 by 64 into 0.3 equals to 480 by 47. I think this is approximately, let's do an approximate calculation. I think the options are too spaced out. I can do an approximate calculation to arrive at the answer. So just doing a rough approximate calculation. 480 by 47 can be taken as 10, approximately 10, right? So 480 by 47 is 10. Now 15 by 0.3 is how much? 15 by 0.3 will be 50. 50 by 64. 50 by 64. 50 by 64 is like 5 by 6. Yeah, 5 by 6. 5 by 6 or 50 by 64 is like approximately 1, let's say. So this is how much is that? 1 by 10a plus 15 by 15 by 64 into 0.3, right? B is equal to 0.3. 10 by 13, 10 by 13. 10 minus 10 by 13. 10 minus 10 by 13 would be 120 by 13. 120 by 13 is approximately 9. Yeah, so A comes out to be what? Solve for A from this one. A comes out to be you're able to follow. This part is 50 times 15 by 3 is 5. This is 50 by 64. 50 by 64 can be taken as 10 by 13. So 10 minus 10 by 13, 130 minus 10, 120 by 13. 120 by 13 is very close to 9. So 10A equals to 1 by 9, or A equals to 1 by 90, approximately 1 by 90. Yeah, approximately 1 by 90. How much is 1 by 90? So I think answer should be somewhere around 0.3 or yeah. 1 by 9 is 0.11. 1 by 9 will be 0.011. So option 4 is anyway ruled out. It can't be 1.23. Option 3 is also ruled out, 0.9. Option 1, 0.06. No, it is 0.04, somewhere around 0.04. Yeah, so I think it should be, it can be taken close to 0.03 only, 0.03, or maybe if you have to be too precise, fifth option, none of this also can be taken as the answer. See, the complexity here is too much of calculation there, right? You have to do that to get the required answer. Yeah. Yeah, so I think it should be either option 2 or option 5. I mean, if you go for a precise calculation, maybe option 5 also can be considered. But yeah, this is how you work on it. Find out for A first or B first, and then substitute the variable B in the second equation to get A and get the required answer. So complex, I agree that it's a complex one. It's not a simple and straight question. You have to comprehend the question very clearly first, and only then you can proceed with the solution. Okay, hold on. I think I've made a mistake. B is 0.03 and I have considered, yeah, we got B equals to 0.03, but while substituting, I've taken 0.3. Hold on. Let me go back to the solution once. Okay, sorry about this error, guys. I just realized that B is not 0.3, B is 0.03. I'm so sorry for this one. Yeah, I'll just do the last step again. Let me, sorry. Let me just do the last step once. I think this is where the problem lies. We are better off dealing in fractions also. If you want, you can just deal with fractions, but let's see what happens. In the second equation, we have 1 by 10A plus 15 by 64B, right? B is 0.03. I think I had considered 0.3. B is 0.03, right? B is 0.03 equals to 480 by 47, equals to 480 by 47. Now you have to solve for A from this one. Yeah, so I think 64 into 3, if you see 64 into 3 would be 192. 64 into 0.03 will be 1.92. 1.92 is approximately 2. So 15 by 2, this comes out to be, 15 by 2 comes out to be 7.5. 7.5. Yeah, now I think the answer would change. So 480 by 47 is 10. 10 minus 7.5 is 2.5. Yeah, 10 minus 7.5 is 2.5. So 1 by 10A is 2.5. So A equals to 1 by 25. Yeah, 10 minus, you understand, 64 into 0.03. 64 into 3 is 192. 64 into 0.03 is 1.92. Approximately, I can say 15 by 2. 15 by 2 is 7.5. This is approximately 10. So 10 minus 7.5, 2.5. So 1 by 10A is 2.5. 10A will be 1 by 2.5. 1 by 2.5 is 0.4. And 1 by 0.4 by 10 will be 0.04. So I think A comes out to be 0.04 or approximately 0.04. So now I think the answer would be changing. Answer will not be 0.03. Answer should be taken as option 1, 0.06. See, that one error there in calculation resulted in a wrong answer. And we can't be doing this. I mean, I would get not only negative marking of 0.25 marks for this question, but I've also lost 1 mark because I had almost solved the question. In the last step, I made an error and I could not crack it. And we have spent like so much of time in doing this. So be very careful, right? One simple error can lead to minus 1.25 in the exam. So I think approximately 0.07 is what we are getting, which is like close to 0.06. So I would mark option 1 as the answer. A plus B, right? 0.03 plus 0.04. This is a rough calculation. When you do it more precisely, I'm sure you will get much closer to 0.06 than compared to 0.07. All right, so the answer for this one is option 1. Yeah, so time consuming, I agree, but there is no way out. Either you solve it or you just skip and go to the next one. And yeah, many of you, I guess, have pointed out that I took B as 0.3 instead of 0.03, and that led to the error. I was wondering why none of the options are satisfying here. Of course, fifth option was none of this, but I thought we are getting close to 0.03 and not 0.06. Anyway, answer is 0.06, which is option 1. Oh, 1:30 now. We'll have to close it. Yeah, substitution was wrong. So that's about the session today. I have more questions. I wish I could solve more, but time is not on our side and I'll have to close it now. So let me sign off here. While we have not been able to solve many questions, but I'm sure we have solved very, very interesting questions in the session today, and these were time consuming because a lot of calculations involved, and the only way to deal with this is to work on your numerical skills, right? While your IBPS RRB exam is just a week away, not to worry too much about that. I think this week you should be focusing more on getting into the right frame of mind, right? Solve as many questions as possible, continue practicing, but don't panic thinking about what is going to happen in the exam, or what would be the cutoff, etc. You've already cleared the most difficult stage, which is the preliminary examination. Main examination can be dealt with a lot easily when compared to the prelims exam there, right? So focus on what's going to happen in the exam there. I mean, don't focus too much on how the paper would be, etc. But yeah, plan your time out, right? I mean, whatever 2 hours or whatever time you have for the main examination, just have a right strategy for that. Make a strategy for yourself in this 1 week time, and keep yourself cool. I think it's very, very important that you walk into the examination center with full of confidence. Okay, and don't worry if you have not been able to solve any of these questions in the session today. This is just to refresh the concepts, right? I'm sure if not in this exam, it will be useful in your upcoming exams like IBPS PO mains or IBPS clerks or RBA assistants or IBPS specialist officers and all the other competitive exams that you have. Okay, so that's all from our side. Thank you all for joining us in this session. We will meet again as a part of this IBPS RRB main exam refresher series brought to you by GradeUp and TalentSprint. The next session will be on reasoning ability on the 31st of October, which is the coming Tuesday on 31st of October, Tuesday at 6 p.m. right? Remember, the session is going to be at 6 p.m. So I wish to see you all again joining us in that session, and I would suggest that you can subscribe to our channel here. Subscribe to the channel of TalentSprint for bank and SEC exam prep tips, so that you get timely notifications about the videos that we upload or the live sessions that we schedule, so that you don't miss on anything here. Okay, so do subscribe to our channel, and yes, keep practicing, because these 7 days are also very important and it can add a great value to your preparation. Remember, the only advice is not to panic too much. Keep yourselves relaxed and gain that confidence before you walk into the examination center. On that note, let me close it here. Thank you once again. We will meet on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for your IBPS PO RRB mains exam refresher session on reasoning ability. Before that, I think we will meet the TalentSprint students on Monday itself for their IBPS clerks refresher session, available only to TalentSprint students inside TalentSprint's learning platform, right? That won't be on YouTube, but it will be there only on the TalentSprint platform. So if you wish to explore our programs, if you wish to be a part of the TalentSprint student community, you can visit our website talentsprint.com and see if there is any program that suits your requirement. Okay, thank you so much. See you all in the next session. Keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. Bye.